You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just?
Don't like sharing your pint? Then share the new Scoopapalooza.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's.
Make some mother truckin' change.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th generation. Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th generation.
You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just?
Seacoast United make the trip to Burlington. Vermont Green FC hosting their rivals from the Twin State of New Hampshire. It is the Twin State Derby. Rainy conditions and cold on this Saturday, May 31st. Brian McLaughlin with Matt Montel. Matt, it is always a treat when these two teams match up. Maybe not the perfect weather today for the fans, but out on the pitch, they are going to be loving these wet conditions for what should be a really high-profile showdown.
Yeah, maybe for the fans it's not ideal, but this is soccer weather. This is perfect weather to really kind of amp up the energy a bit. It's going to be really slick out there. We were talking off air that, that ball might not really stick to your foot very much today, and so you might see a little bit of that first touch. That ball goes a couple feet, all of a sudden it turns into a 50-50 challenge. I think it's going to get a little crunchy today.
Seacoast United are the reigning national champs, and Matt, they were the only team a year ago to beat Vermont Green FC. 3 losses for the Green, 2 in the regular season, and then Seacoast ended the Green's campaign in the round of 16. There's a lot of history between these two sides. We call it a rivalry. If you're a Green fan, unfortunately, I hate to break the news, it has been a bit one-sided. Vermont Green 1-6 all-time against the Phantoms of Seacoast, 0-3 here at Virtue Field. What are you looking at today from the Green side as they try to snap that streak and get one back against a team that have had as much success as anybody in the Northeast Division?
Well, I think we have to also consider right now what the league form is so far. I know that it's still kind of early. We're, 3 matches? Both have played 3 matches now. Vermont kind of is red hot in front of net. Whether, that's the actual league or that's in the friendlies, doesn't matter. They're red hot in front of net. And I think there's a big point to make is that there's no goals conceded so far within the league. So that's something that I think they're going to want to first ensure is to limit how many chances are created against, but also to see if you can keep that down to like a 1-digit score. Something like, one, if you're going to give up one early, give it, maybe just one, but also keep some control and consistency throughout the match.
Couple more storylines to hit on. Matt mentioned it. Vermont Green coming off a 9-0 victory over Providence City FC in a midweek friendly. Seacoast just picking up their first win of the campaign, a 2-1 victory over Boston Bolts on Wednesday. Right now, Vermont Green FC in second in the division, trailing Western Massachusetts. Vermont Green do have a game in hand, though, to the Pioneers. A win today would move Vermont Green in front of the Pioneers. Depending on a result for AC Connecticut, the Green at the end of today could find themselves atop of the Northeast Division. Another thing to focus on, both of these coaches, Matt, are first-year head coaches. Alex Taylor from Seacoast United is the head coach at Southern New Hampshire. He takes over in charge for the Phantoms. He was not a part of the Seacoast United staff in years previous, while Chris Taylor, elevated to the top job for Vermont Green in the dugout, has been a part of this rivalry in years past. Anything to that today? Couple of bosses in charge for the first time against their biggest rival.
Well, I think ideally in Chris Taylor's situation specifically, it's a lot easier to carry over that presence, that command, and respect because you were part of the staff, so everyone's very familiar with you. Versus if you're brand new and you're unfamiliar to those players, to that roster of players, you do have to kind of prove that you know what you're doing, more or less. The results speak for themselves, how you organize the team, all of that. So I think right now the edge is obviously with Chris Taylor.
We're going to hear from Chris Taylor as the Vermont Green FC boss sits down with us for our pregame interview. He walks us through what it's going to be like out on the pitch and how he made his decision today on this Vermont Green FC starting 11. Here is the pregame sit-down with Chris Taylor. Here with head coach Chris Taylor ahead of the matchup with Seacoast United. Coach, it's a rainy, cold one out there. First off, just how does that affect the proceedings out on the pitch?
Yeah, it changes the game a lot, to be honest. It's going to speed the game up. It's probably going to create mistakes. And we've got to be the team with the fastest response time to mistakes because it's going to be really difficult. But I think, hopefully, our reactions are really good and we can be sharp enough to make sure that we capitalise on any mistakes from them and we respond to our own. So it's going to play a big part in the game for sure.
Obviously a huge match for reasons we'll get into. How do you go about picking an 11 for a match like this so early in the year?
Sleepless nights. It's so difficult. We've left some incredible players out of the squad. We've got some incredible players on the bench. I've disappointed a lot of players. That's a testament to how good the squad is, and it's really difficult. But we tried to pick the best matchups for this game. We've had some guys in for a couple of weeks now, tried to make sure that, our experiences against Seacoast in the past, we're using them to pick the right profile of player. But the nice thing is we've got players on the bench that can come change it as well. So we've got some options, and it's, I'm fortunate to have a great group.
You mentioned previous experiences against Seacoast. They knocked you out of last year's tournament. They were the only team to beat Vermont Green FC a year ago. How do you try to relay that message to your team when there is so much history between these two sides?
Yeah, it's been a great rivalry, and to be honest, Seacoast got a ton of respect for them. They're a quality team, and they've been the team that we've struggled against the most over the years. Tried to learn some lessons from it, but at the same time, we don't want that to be a backpack on our shoulders and weigh us down a little bit. A lot of new players here. We want them to write their own history instead of talking about what's come before us a bit.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck today.
All right, thanks.
You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just?
The Seacoast United Phantoms in the blue, Vermont Green FC in their bright green warm-up kits, ready to go for the Twin State Derby between the reigning national champions of Seacoast United and Vermont Green, unbeaten so far in USL2 play. Let's meet the Seacoast starting 11. And Matt, there's a big name missing from this group run out by Josh Taylor, Tag Healy, who has tormented the Green in years past. He scored 6 goals in 7 career matches against the Green. That's a guy that was the USL2 National Championship MVP a season ago. He's been a lifelong member of Seacoast United, not in their squad today. He did not make the trip north. Obviously, that changes just how this group's set up, but still we know really high quality in the Phantom side.
Yeah, that's a big missing player for Seacoast. And I know that some people will have the mindset that you want to beat somebody at full strength so that you can say you beat them at full strength for that. Not in this case. I will absolutely take Tag Healy out for this match. Give us the edge a little bit, especially with an informed Tadavine. I think I like the chances for Vermont Green to actually get some goals on this.
Some other returners from Seacoast's national championship winning squad. Tobias John was the starter in net on that occasion. The Northeastern Husky retains his position as the Phantoms' number 1. They've also got Terry Makadika, who was a UNH Wildcat this past fall. He is an up and down winger. Marco Dos Santos, a Boston College Eagle, another returner from the group that won a natty last season. So let's now go over to the Vermont Green side. And Matt, one of the biggest starting 11s yet this season for head coach Chris Taylor. What do you make of the group he's putting out there as, look, it's so early in the year. You just heard his thoughts on it, talking about this match. He wants to put out a strong side, but try to keep everybody happy as well. It is not easy to choose 11 at the moment.
Well, yeah, like you said, there is a balance, especially within the USL2 league, that, everyone needs to get some time, and you do want to know, if you don't play some of these players, you don't really know what you might have. But at the end of the day, this is about winning. This is what the business is about. And I think the 11 that he's put out today is, with the amount of time sample that we've had to look at this new roster and these new players, I think this is pretty much closest to what might be the strongest. It could change, and we've seen that change, throughout the season as it goes along in past seasons. But I think players like Ndia and Zengi, they have so much experience in this matchup that it makes sense that they are absolutely going to start. Regardless of even just how much quality they have, they know what this matchup is, and I think they got something to prove, especially, considering what we talked about, that we haven't exactly been on the winning side against Seacoast lately.
1-6 all-time against the Phantoms. David Ajagby on the left wing makes his first USL2 start for the Green. Julian Labordalus has started every game in the midfield. He'll partner today with Joseph Picoto. Picoto, now the Maryland's Terrapin, also in his first USL2 start for the Green. Luca Costabile, same story. We saw him in the midweek friendlies with Rui Aoki, Musa Ndia, and Amani Thomas, the back on the right-hand side. Matt, I know you're really excited to see what Thomas has. Could be a challenging match against the exciting Seacoast wingers, but Thomas has proven to be quality so far this year.
Yeah, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but from what I've seen of Thomas, it was especially against Laval in that second half where he started to really terrorize that whole right side, getting forward, and that really started to just break down, and all of a sudden Laval is sitting deeper and deeper. Vermont's getting more and more possession, creating more chances, unlocking that defense more and more. So same with Castible on the left side. I just have, for whatever reason, noticed Thomas just a little bit more lately, so I am going to be keeping an eye on him.
Credit to the fans who have made it out today. A pretty great crowd when you consider the weather. It is a steady rainfall that has been pretty much coming down all day here in Burlington, but it should be a delightful showdown between the Seacoast United Phantoms, 5th place in the Northeast Division, where they have reigned supreme in recent years, and Vermont Green FC, looking to establish themselves as the early division leaders. Matt, this is always one we circle on the calendar at the start of the year. Excited to be here with you today. Just what are you going to be keeping your eye on early on in this match?
Trying to establish basically control very quickly. I think home turf, you want to do that first. Looking to kind of at least get a rhythm going, especially in these conditions when, like we said earlier, that this ball is going to be very slick. It's going to move very fast. That first touch is going to be even more important. That ball's not going to stick. So I expect to see kind of maybe it'll almost be not necessarily looking to get an immediate tack on goal, but to look to gain some control, everyone get on the same page, find that rhythm, and then start to get forward, get into that attacking third, and start creating chances from it. But you know what? These type of matchups, especially these two, it could just be absolutely back and forth, and this could be an absolute battle.
That's big Nicholas Herseg, the German, plays here for the University of Vermont, making his first USL2 start between the sticks. Judwell and Michel had made the previous starts in net, and there's Tobias John, the regular for first-year head coach Josh Taylor, winning a national title in net with Seacoast a season ago. They have not quite yet recaptured their form on this campaign. Sam McCann and AC Connecticut toppling Seacoast United in their season opener. They have drawn with Western Massachusetts. They're coming off a 2-1 win at Boston Bolts on Wednesday, where Tag Healy scored a goal as well as Marco Dos Santos. Underway, the Green get it started. Tatavine plays it back to Laborde Luce, looking for a Jagby down the left-hand side. We expect a pretty clean back four for the visitors. Matiwas Rumley with Santiago Frias in front of John in net. Christian Bajar, the left back. Mitchell Varley down the right. There's Pacoto getting some room early up the left, but unable to save it with the Jagby.
And there you can already see just a little bit that ball, that slick ball right now, just trying to get it, on the ground, keep control of it. Both teams just struggling just a little bit in the immediate 30 seconds.
A high-intensity matchup. Looks like it is Joaquin Brizuelo leading the line for the Phantoms as their true number 9, the 6'2" striker of Virginia Cavalier. The Green want to play it along the ground. Back to Laborde Luce. He sets up in front of Rui Aoki and Musa Ndie. Thomas and Enzo Dovlo operate down the right side for the Green. Pacoto. Too much on it for a Jagby.
And again there, potentially if it's dry turf, that one starts to sit a little bit for a Jagby. So that's going to be finding that weight of the pass in these conditions. But already like Thomas getting a little bit forward from there, try to pin back Seacoast just immediately as much as you can.
There's a look at Vermont Green FC head coach Chris Taylor. He told me before the game, Matt feels like home. He's from Liverpool.
Yeah, as I was telling you, I was talking to his assistant coach, Lee, and I was like, oh, you were molded in this.
Couple of Brits on staff. Thomas provides an early ball. Tatavine was there at the back post. Matt's made a point of mentioning it, but Tatavine has been in great form. The Frenchman from Rennes plays for UNC Greensboro, where he's teammates with the right winger. This is Enzo Dovlo, the teammate of Tatavine. And Tatavine, 3 goals and an assist across all competitions. He earns the nod at striker ahead of the likes of Jacob Leibovitz, Tyler Trimnell, both of who have made the bench for the Green. Dovlo drives it low across. Zenge just a bit loose with the touch. Connor Thompson The Vermont Catamount was there to clear it for the Phantoms.
And a really good little period of possession from there. Again, Thomas up there joining in with Dovlo, and then all of a sudden creating, I think, was it Picoto that thread a ball through. I've seen that a lot, actually, playing it between the center back and the fullback, and then you see Dovlo come in. It's a good little cross. Unfortunately, it looked like Zengi just didn't take it on one time.
This is Dos Santos. Aoki the challenge on Brizuela. The left back Bajar will take the throw. He's another of the Boston College contingent here for the Phantoms. Brizuela shields it around Thomas. Cries of a handball from the green bench. First trip into the attacking end for the Phantoms.
Good defending from Rui there. Good use of the body.
Brizuela, a big, strong forward. Again, Bejar takes it quickly. Dos Santos threads it through. The attempt on the cutback from Chapella. Cut out for a corner for the Phantoms. Oh, it is a throw, I believe, deep into that corner, actually. Labordalus sprays it out
Great
for a
ball.
Jagby. I'm excited to see what a Jagby can bring. The big, strong winger from Ohio State. Another one who's been super productive in the friendlies. 2 goals and 3 assists across 2 matches. Picoto defending the challenge. Goes without a whistle. Dos Santos down.
Already starting to see just a little bit that ball that's bobbling. That's what I'm talking about, is that if there is not enough like technical control from it, those players, those are like those triggers basically to go and put pressure on, to go and tackle, because you don't want to, if you see that player is very comfortable in possession from it, you more or less kind of try to shield, maybe get a double up on defense. But from there, and now we're starting to see there's going to be some crunching tackles here. Great ball from Ndie there. Good switch over to Thomas.
Trying to shield it from Miata. Gives it away. Thomas wins it back. Zenge down the line from Dovlo, and the Green have a break on the move. Zenge forced backwards. Good defending from Rumley. He's been a regular starter at center back for Josh Taylor. No relation that I know of, by the way, between the 2 first-year head coaches, Josh and Chris, both last name Taylor. But Jagby, powerful run. David Jagby! He puts the Green in the lead!
And almost out of nowhere. It was almost a stalemate, looking like a stalemate for the first 5-7 minutes from it. Yeah, we're just under 6 minutes from there. And I thought he was starting to get closed down from the angle that we were looking at. But what a neat and tidy finish. Let's take another look at this.
Just shrugging off the defenders. Picoto, the one to send it wide. Actually, this is Musa Ndie who begins the attack, and now the run from David Jagby.
Great first touch from there to start the dribble. Splits the defenders there.
Get off me.
And look at this angle. Exquisite finish. And that's a perfect start for the Green right now. That's what you want. You want to get up ahead first, because we all know that Seacoast have something in their locker, and what better way to at least give yourself a little bit of insurance right now.
David Jagby, the powerful strides. And the Green continue to look
menacing.
I like that. The Phantoms will look to counter. They are a high-profile offense as well.
This is looking a little dangerous.
Shot blocked by Thomas. Volley over the bar. It was a good hit from Brizuela after Makadika made the official run into the attacking third.
Hearts and mouths moment, too, because it's an old cliche that you're the most vulnerable right after you score to get your focus right back on.
You want to know a fun stat here, Matt? Maybe not fun if you're a Green fan. It is not going to be very fun. So I told you they're 1-6 all time in 7 matches against Seacoast. They've scored first in 4 of them.
I wish you didn't tell me.
The Phantoms have been electric coming from behind. However, in all 4 of those matches where the Green have scored first, the person who scored next for Seacoast was Tag Healy.
Yeah, so trends are meant to be broken.
No Healy today available for the Phantoms as Tatavine tried to go solo. Labordaloose nods it for Zenge.
Great touch and pass from Zenge there.
Dovlo's
able to keep it in.
speedy. He's got Thomas with him. Labordaloose and Pakoto. The Green are looking confident. Pakoto threatens. He's put under pressure dangerously. He had to work hard to maintain that possession.
Well done.
And Thomas gives it away. Chapella's worked it down the line. Rui Aoki.
Great use of the body there from Ryoki. Are we saying Ryoki or Ryu?
Rui Aoki. He goes by Rui,
All
first
right,
name.
I'm going to stick with Rui.
Rui's fine. Aoki is the second name, but he's got Rui on the back of his jersey. Well, there's some talent on that Vermont Green bench as well.
Yeah, what a selection to choose from. And credit, to the entire staff and Adam, just putting together such a strong roster. And, I feel almost bad for Chris Taylor that, he probably likes all of these players, but he does have to pick based on form and what he's seen and what he believes is to be the best 11 to at least start this match. But what a luxury to have that.
What a ball from Labordaloose. Just too much on it, skipping on the turf.
Chris Taylor clapping his hands. He likes the idea from that. It was a good execution. It's just the conditions that ball is going to flick on once it hits the ground when it's this wet.
The Green looking for their first ever win at home against their rivals from New Hampshire. Thompson's ball that time between a few teammates. It splits. Chapella, who's operated down the left so far. And Thompson's a really fun story, a lifelong Seacoast player from Kennebunk, Maine. Plays collegiately for the University of Vermont, where he's had some real injury problems over his career. But last year really found a home in the second unit of Vermont's midfield and now is becoming a regular for the Phantoms at his boyhood club. But it's the Green right now, enjoying all sorts of possession. It works for Tatavine. Arnold Tatavine off the woodwork. So close to 2.
Almost. And again, threatening every time that Vermont get within anywhere near that box. It's looking like they're actually going to score the next goal.
We'll talk about a confident striker, Matt.
Not enough pressure on him, too. He'll love that. He's going to hope that continues.
And the left back, Bejar. Chapella. That was Dos Santos, and now Chapella around Ndie, who was a bit awkward, but he thumps it to a Jagby.
Is it weird that I'm never really worried, though, when Ndie is 1v1 for it?
His 35th ever appearance. No, I think that's fair that you're unbothered. And a foul is spotted as Mayada
I just trust him.
had taken it away from Labordaloose. Clearly the coaching staff agrees with you.
Yeah. I'm actually very proud of the crowd that actually showed up today for it. I know that everyone understood that, this matchup is the biggest matchup of the season. But granted, the conditions weren't exactly ideal. It's pretty soggy and wet out there, but we've got a pretty packed house.
Dovlo outmuscles Bajar. He's got Pakoto on the overlap. Joseph Pakoto cut out nicely the defensive play by Rumley. A Green corner coming.
Continuing to just knock on the door from there. That's probably 4 or 5 different pretty dangerous now chances coming, then 1 goal out of them. I like those percentages. And I think it's Bordaloose that is taking the corner.
Bordaloose has been the set-piece specialist throughout the year.
So it's going to be an outswinger he's taking with his right foot. Good ball.
Aoki felt the shove. Not going to get a penalty on that. This is where the Phantoms can be really dangerous because Stabile cuts it out. Dovlo the early ball with Tatavine in the vicinity. Brizuela away from a Jagby. Now Dos Santos. Dos Santos wearing the captain's armband today. A nice run. And a left-footed shot just curls high and wide. Good look for Aiden Chapella.
And you said that was Dos Santos that was driving with the ball in the midfield, covering 40 feet. I mean, clearly you can see that he's just got an absolute drive to his dribble.
The 5'9" midfielder has started every match so far this year. I would expect to see a lot of Dos Santos in the absence of Tay Keeley. That's the big 6'5" center back, Frias. Now Miata wanted the early ball, and Nicholas Herseg gets his paws on it.
Take that all day.
The commanding German twirls it out for Thomas. Zange, a dangerous pass. Aoki flying over. Clatters it free.
And that's a...
Dovlo on the chase. John will have to come out now, and his angled clearance goes out of play.
And that's the type of errors that you're going to see in these conditions. I know it's getting old, keep saying it, but that ball won't settle. It won't settle down. He can't get it to stick to his foot. And then if you put enough pressure on it, you just saw that it almost turned into a breakaway.
DA flying forward. No nonsense aerial clearance again.
Risky first touch, but I like it.
Pakoto shrugging off some challenges.
And we've got limbs flying now.
A showdown that's rarely missing any heat. Vermont against New Hampshire, the Green against the Phantoms. Feels like there's always a bit of extra.
There's a little spicy mustard on this hot dog.
Little zests. Rumley wants to play directly. Handled out of the air by Chapella. Dos Santos again striding through the challenges. Labordaloose and Thomas nick it from him.
Oh, go on, Thomas.
A silky runner.
Unlucky.
Couldn't connect with Tatavine. But now here goes Zange in behind. Zachary Zange. John had to play with his head, but he does so well. Good read of the play there from the Seacoast keeper.
Center backs for Green, Rui, and DA doing a good job right now, taking that ball out of the air and winning those challenges in the air.
This has been pretty end-to-end action. You can see Labordaloose. He wants to settle it down. The technical midfielder.
Seacoast are starting to get a little bit more rhythm and control into their game. As they start going forward, you can start to see it gets a little bit more dangerous, and you're starting to see a little bit of errant passes coming out of Green right now. And Taylor, you can see arms are showing a little bit of displeasure to that.
And now Labordaloose is fouled by Dos Santos, who got a bit heavy with the touch. Foul going the way of the Green after the Frenchman. Labordaloose was clipped to the floor. Well, Labordaloose, one of 3 Frenchmen in the starting lineup today. Matt, I'm sure they might be pleased with the result of a certain Champions League final.
Very happy young man. There's a couple of them out there, right?
Well, it's funny. Labordaloose played this last year at Kansas City. He's headed to UNC Greensboro in the fall. That's where both Arnaud Tatavine and Enzo Dovlo play. 3 Frenchmen. All 3 of them will be teammates at Greensboro.
Yeah, as long as none of them are Marseille fans, they're all very, very happy right now.
I can't say for sure. Arnaud Tatavine is from Rennes. Dovlo, Strasbourg. Labordaloose. They're all from 3 different towns. The point. Steph Njike off the bench, also from Strasbourg. There is a French flair about the day.
C'est magnifique.
If you say so.
Très magnifique.
Oui.
Oui.
It's about all I've got. Sorry, folks.
I should know more. My mother's French.
Montel,
but
yeah,
I am not fluent.
Seacoast just settling things down after the Green had a flurry of early chances, highlighted by the David Ajagby right-footed finish. Well, Seacoast in every match in their history have scored at least a goal against the Green. They've scored multiple goals in 5 of the 7. The Green only winning once, and that happened down in New Hampshire. Yaniv Bazzini, 2 first-half goals, beating the Phantoms 2-1 on that occasion. Really the only team in USL2 that has given the Green trouble over the years.
Oh, we got a 2v2.
Zanget, can he unlock Tatavine? Now running against Frias. Arno Tatavine lines it up, takes the rip, doesn't trouble John.
I like it, though. That's a difficult ball, especially bouncing off. You don't know exactly where it's going to go, and that zip, once it hits the ground, I absolutely welcome some chances from distance.
Especially for a striker in the form that Tatavine's in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Have at it.
Zanget,
Keeper might bobble it.
Exactly, on a wet day. I was thinking that as well. John and Herseg, both proven keepers at the collegiate level. Both national champions, although at different spots. Herseg for the University of Vermont. John, of course, here for Seacoast. Meanwhile, the Phantoms pushing onward again. Bajar, the left back.
And Thomas just really impressing me again. Just with his absolute athleticism. His technical skill, it's all there. But just it seems like he's just always got an extra gear. Even when he goes to ground, he's immediately up, and he's already caught back up.
The exciting 18-year-olds won the ACC tournament championship with Wake Forest. One of 3 Vancouver Whitecaps on the Green roster. Tatavine goes to ground, shielded wide by Santiago Frias. Frias getting his first USL2 start. Jiwoo Lee, the University of New Hampshire center back, had started the previous 3 matches. So a change at the back today for Josh Taylor. While Varley, Rumley, and Bajar have all started the previous 3 matchups in league play.
Tatavine just starting to get into the game a little bit more. I know that he had a chance early on, and then he just had that second one for it, but I hadn't seen him kind of be involved in the build-up. It was really Zengi for it, and there's no problem with that. And actually, if anything, I like the fact that Green was able to create that many chances, those dangerous opportunities, without having to necessarily completely lean on your number 9. So then once he starts to grow into the game, it's just adding to the fire.
It's Tatavine who gives up another throw. Varley, the right back, will take it. Well, aside from Thompson, the deepest lying midfielder for Seacoast, feels like they've had a pretty fluid group. Makadike, Chapella, Miata, and Dos Santos all sitting beneath the striker, Buzuela. It's Makadike trying to chase down Thomas. Seacoast trying to amp up their pressure. Thomas flailing. Is told to play on. And now Amani Thomas is skipping through the challenges. Ajagby returns it to Dovlo. He's clipped and brought down. This is some trouble perhaps for Matiwo Rumley.
I'm curious if he's going to draw a card, but doesn't seem so.
Central referee Jay Valiris in control of the proceedings today.
And Ajagby wanted to take the throw pretty quickly, but
and now the 4th official is being waved over.
And what are they contesting?
I believe there was a foul called that's going to give the Green a set piece inside their attacking third. And they're bringing the ball all the way back to the other end of the field.
So they're going back to the play.
The play when Thomas
that
went
where
down,
he said
perhaps?
to play on, but,
Oh, this is confusing. I thought initially that either Thomas was fouled or he had
Right.
handled it. So I think they are actually bringing it back as a handball called on Thomas. But the play had continued for a good 30 seconds. That's a quite stunning decision to me. I thought this would have happened 30 seconds prior.
I've worked with the officiating staff for years. I'll have a conversation with them at halftime. See, was like, well, what happened there? What'd you see?
Well, Chris Taylor's having a conversation right now, and I think it's less polite. The delivery from Seacoast sent in by Dos Santos. Labordaloose nods it out of immediate danger. Picked up by Thompson. And now Makadike. I'm just confused how the play was allowed to continue for so long is the question. But we should move on.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Fair enough.
It is what it is. The weather affects, everyone. And it looks like that's an offsides. So Green back with possession.
Well, the Green leading 1-0. They've had the majority of the chances. Herseg yet to make a save. He's had his hands on the ball once or twice. One or two dangerous chances have come through Dos Santos and Aiden Chapella.
And whilst I would give the edge to Green a bit, just based off of the dangerous areas that they've gotten into, the chances that they've gotten from it, I just have this feeling that something's going to come out of nothing from Seacoast, and that's just something to be wary about.
They've been inevitable in years past. Enzo Dovlo wants to isolate. Ooh. Back post ball. Tatavine!
Oh!
It's the French connection. Dovlo to Tatavine. 2-0.
And he just cannot miss, Brian. An exquisite cross, though. We have to mention that the cross just set him up for that finish. But credit to him, he's still got to put it in the back of the net. But both pieces of play, just absolutely wonderful.
Inside 25 minutes. Dovlo delivers.
To the back post, floating right on his head. And what a finish. Again, an acute angle.
And they're dancing in the rain.
Dream start. Giving everyone that showed up today in this weather, came what they asked for.
It is the
umbrellas flying. Sorry.
Second goal in league play for Tatavine. I would love to see some umbrellas launched aerially.
They're Vermonters. They're not going to throw the beer. They'll throw the
far too valuable.
the
They'd rather
before.
get wet.
Exactly.
Well, Tatavine gives them plenty of reason to celebrate. He joins at Jagby on the score sheet. And another one, Matt, that didn't feel like the Green were building up all that directly, but then it just kind of appeared, and then the cross was a perfect one.
I'm going to keep talking about how I'm wary of Seacoast because it seems like when I do, it goes the other way, and I love that reverse psychology of how that works. So just expect it maybe
sounds good.
A little more.
I think it's fair for anybody to be cautious when taking on the Phantoms.
The history. Yeah, absolutely.
They are the reigning 3 consecutive Northeast Division champions. A win today for the Green, though, would certainly be a statement to the rest of the division. Labordaloose wants to play direct. It's knotted away from Dovlo, but Pakoto's there for the second ball, and he's got Thomas. All the way back to Musa Ndiaye. Really the first chance for Costabile to get on the ball. Aoki sweeps it to Thomas. Dovlo.
Good quick movement of the ball from Green there. Oh, what a ball.
Thomas is moving forward, wants the early one.
Oh, it's the right idea. Just a little further inside.
And Musa Ndiaye, a bombing header. Well, there's a lot of joy down this right side right now, Matt. Zenga has it tackled away. It's collected by Varley. But Thomas and Dovlo have done a nice job combining up the right for the green, it seems.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to see out of those two as a partnership on that right side. It's a little bit difficult to see right now for Joggy and
Castabile down the left.
Yeah,
sure.
down on the left side for it. But I wanted to see Thomas more getting forward, and I've loved it so far.
Bejar. Back and forth with Thompson, and now Matthias Rumley. Frias recovering into his defensive shape. One back by Thomas. He's been all over the place. Castabile. A neat shifting run. Zenge's returned it to him. Castabile, Thompson on the cutback. Tatavine.
I thought it was over, too. I didn't see Tatavine just float in there out of nowhere. I thought it was potentially that it looked like it was going to be a diagonal ball across, got flicked on, and then all of a sudden Tatavine comes out of nowhere.
Seacoast to throw deep in their defensive third. It's off the back of Brizuela. Well, just the second time the Green have ever scored multiple goals against the Seacoast United side. Arno Tatavine. Laborda loose. It leaks out for Makadike. This is where he's a dangerous threat. Makadike trying to send it down the line. Brizuela. Brizuela approaching.
Great job. Well done from Rui there. Absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't dive in too early, waits for his moment, and then uses his body perfectly.
And Brizuela cutting down Joseph Picoto from behind. The game's first card. It is Joaquin Brizuela in the book.
I'm a little surprised. 30 minutes in, and that's the first card.
The Argentinian man, maybe not a shock.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a big challenge.
That's worthy of a yellow.
Seemed like a yellow to me. I would agree.
It reminds me, I do need to watch the Argentinian league for some entertainment.
It is a wild league to watch.
It's just war.
Just war. Well, I'm sure Nicholas Herseg has enjoyed what's happened in front of him. He's barely been busy.
Yeah, I'd say, in this occasion, he especially won't have any issues with being just a little untested. There's a couple volleys. I think there was one volley in there that maybe had him
moving,
tense up a little, but
Zange. Heart and mouth moment perhaps for John. He does well to boot into the midfield.
He's been doing that actually a couple times this game, Zenge. He's been trying to initiate that press and try to catch him a little off guard.
Hasn't found his name on the score sheet yet this year. He's been so productive over the years for the Green. But it's moments like that. That's where his value is as well, right?
Well, I have this long ongoing debate with a friend of mine who very much leans on statistics and analytics, and I do appreciate that a lot, but sometimes it's the litmus test, the eye test from it. Zenge is so involved in every match that maybe the statistics or whatever the data shows at the end, it's not going to say what you actually see. And that's the type of thing that I've been watching Zenge do for 30 minutes now.
Thomas just over Tatavine's head. John the punch. And the offside flag up. It was Zenge in the mix, stirring the drink, switching the play.
His job at the end of the day, first, too, isn't necessarily all completely about the assists and goals. Yes, you do want those to your name, and it's going to sound ridiculous, but it is really being that glue in the attack, being able to bring up the team from it, and I think he does a very good job of it.
Well, that word glue, I want to stay with that because for years we've seen the Seacoast team, so many of these guys have played together for years. They've come through their academy together. The Green have not really had that just because they're such a new club. Having guys like Zenge and Ndie in this side today probably has to add to that level of connectivity, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Experience beats almost anything else. Beats skill, beats, athleticism for it. Having that experience, having played these matches, understanding the importance of it, it helps with your decision-making. It also guides it and directs it.
Says a lot about what's been built here that these fans have gotten to watch. Musa and D.A., Zachary Zenge. Two guys that Zenge in particular has had some pro prospects, but Zenge's chosen to stay at Georgetown. He's returned to Burlington for the third straight summer. That's Matt's.
You know I'm a Hoya.
Georgetown love. Really just any Maryland, D.C., Virginia.
No. We don't like Maryland.
Okay.
No.
Just Georgetown specifically.
Yeah, DC,
My mistake.
DC people got
Sorry,
beef with
Luca
Maryland
Costabile.
in Virginia.
And Joseph Picoto. My mistake. Thomas to Dovlo again down this right side. Looks like a corner for the Green.
And I haven't kept exact count, but I think that's 4 corners now for this first half.
Well, it was just announced
2?
as a throw-in. I believe that's a corner. The ball's sitting in the corner flag, and the big boys are going forward. Looks like a corner to me. Second corner for the Green today.
This is why I don't do data. I can't count.
I'm not a math guy either.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Not a math guy. I'm old school.
Julian Labordaloose over. Well, Picoto and D.A., Rui, Ajagby, your likely aerial threats for the Green. To the near posts.
Oh.
Bounding ball dangerously. It flew over Ajagby.
And everyone's heart stopped on Seacoast there because that ball could go absolutely anywhere. Once it's flicked onto that mixer, it could just easily deflect off anyone into the goal.
Yeah, how about that delivery from Julian Labordaloose?
That's something I've noticed. There's been really, really good service from set pieces and corners from this team.
Labordaloose had 12 assists this year as a Kansas City Roo. That's right, a Roo. Short for kangaroo, if you were wondering. He's headed to UNC Greensboro this fall, along with Dovlo and Tatavine. All 3 of them have been productive on the afternoon and on the year. Julian Labordaloose. Deep one this time. Rui Aoki.
Okay.
It took a deflection. It's another corner. The Japanese center back got free at the back post, and an important deflection sent it up and over the bar. But as that thing was headed towards the target, John was scrambling.
And he was saving me from eating my words because I thought it was a little bit too long, a little bit too high, but he positioned himself well to get onto that.
The 6'5" center back counterpart, Santiago Frias, the deflection. Julian Labordaloose once more. This the third in the sequence for the Green. A third goal would be an early punch to the gut for the Phantoms. Dovlo! It took a deflection. The Green will get another corner. How sweet.
Oh, I wanted that to go in so bad.
Off the training ground, clearly, Matt. That was
a wet ball off of a corner. It just takes it out of the air. Perfect execution other than just it didn't get into the net, but wow.
I mean, Labordaloose puts it on his foot, his future teammate and current teammate as well. Almost had the goal of the year if that thing falls.
Yeah, absolutely. Early contender.
Here's another look at the replay, Matt. Oh, he caught it.
It was going in, I guess, without the deflection.
Labordaloose again. Frias away. Didn't quite sit right for Dovlo. He
Seacoast just cannot get out.
Labordaloose over. Things going exactly the Green's way at the moment. Another good ball. It sits for a Jagby. Blocked from Seacoasts. Hacked away finally by Varley. And he sends it into the Green Mountain boys, who are loving the Green play inside the opening half.
Green want to go in 3-0 at the half. There's no intention to just hold on to this 2-0 lead and get to halftime. They're looking for a third.
It's the best half I can remember the Green playing against Seacoast United.
I would say, honestly, well, definitely for this season, but in recent memory.
Picoto trying to dance through traffic. Jagby, Amoni, Thomas.
A
swipe from the youngster. He's been very bright, though, through the opening stanza.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult to honestly put an outstanding player above everyone else. I think everyone has been 8 out of 10s so far.
It's been the Phantoms on their heels. So often what they do to opponents. Bajar back to Rumley. Frias. Now the Phantoms looking to get one back before the half. The long ball. The intention for Brizuela. Nicholas Herseg will be pleased to get a touch.
It's telling, too, that you hadn't had possession for almost 3-4 minutes there, consistently getting your net peppered or your goalkeeper getting peppered, and to choose to go so long on such a low chance of that actually coming off.
Rui nods it right to Zenge. Here go the green again.
Great ball from Zenge there again.
Dovlo with Thomas underlapping him.
Yeah, he's feeling it.
Amani Thomas to the touchline.
Oh.
John, a big touch, and Frias gets it to Bajar. Again, the Phantoms defending for their lives. Dos Santos, we have not seen much of Marcos Dos Santos since he had that big initiating run to lead for the Chapella shot.
I like the way that out of possession between Tadavine and Zengi, you see them. Technically, Zengi does play beneath Tadavine, in his position from there. But when they're out of possession, they both actually are almost flat, and they just pivot as the ball goes and start that press. They're the point of the press from it, and it keeps them really nice and compact. And I think that's a big reason of why you're seeing Seacoast have to go long, because they're kind of taking away those channels to play it into the midfield.
Jagby had just wandered offside after the Pakoto challenge. Won it back for the green. Good line from the Phantoms defensively. Again, green goals from a Jagby and Tatavine. A wonderful run and a right-footed finish from a Jagby. Tatavine, the recipient of a beautiful Dovlo cross and an outstanding header. Makadika dropping deep to get on the ball. He's another one who's been so productive over the years for the Phantoms, but has yet to really get into this match. But to beat the champs, you kind of got to bury them. These guys are not out of this.
Absolutely. No, I hate the saying, but I'll say it anyways. 2-0 is one of the hardest, leads to hold.
Marco Dos Santos as Seacoast look for something before the finish to the first half. Jagby and Pakoto dig it out. Costabile felt he was fouled. He plays it out for a throw-in. Dos Santos down the line. Chapella to the corner flag, tracks it down. Costabile defending, and he's won a corner for the Phantoms.
Okay.
It is their first today.
It's first test.
Herseg, the 6'6" keeper. Brizuela, Chapella, Makadike, along with the center backs of Frias and Rumley, all threats. Rumley at 6'2" and Frias 6'5", both stand out. It's a left-footed in-swinger. Driven low. Tatavine, a flick. Brizuela nods it out. Goal kick.
I think it was a poor corner kick. The intention might have been to drive it hard and low and get it into that mixer, because right now it's a little bit of a mess when it's just kind of raining and wet. But I personally believe you should beat the first man most of the time.
Oh. Pakoto had his right leg taken out.
Coming in hot.
Raisuke Miyata.
But he wears the shin guards where they belong. So
committed the challenge. Nice and low, close to the ankle.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, pretty clear foul to me, it would appear. Makadika. He can fly. Rui Aoki got in the way just enough. He gives up the throw.
And both Green center backs and DA and Rui coming up really high up for those challenges to support. When it's almost when Thomas comes up, he's no more than say 15 feet behind him, helping in to get that second attack. He knows there's going to be like a heavy touch if he tries to drive, and he can intercept it.
That touch from Ndie into the feet of Miata for Seacoast. And the Seacoast throw. I've been impressed with Rui so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today and on the year.
Yeah, I think Ndie is just doing Ndie things, just consistent, trustworthy, no fuss, no mess.
Yeah,
and
the question is who's going to partner with him.
I think Rui has just been just aggressive in such a good way, not recklessly at all. He's just very aggressive, not afraid to challenge at all.
Again, Labordalus unable to completely hack it free. Chapella tries to twirl it in. Costabile the touch. Dos Santos allows it to run out. It's a corner. This is really the best spell Seacoast have had. They want to get their big boys forward quickly. Frias the focus. It's Aiden Chapella. Over the head of Brizuela. He went down awkwardly. Thomas trying to shield from Makadike. Green goal kick.
And I'm hearing 2 minutes.
Things going according to plan for Vermont Green, where as they sit, they move into at least a first-place tie. Going to get you a check on the AC Connecticut-Boston Bolt score at the half. And the Green have the superior goal difference at the moment to AC Connecticut in league play. So far this year, Matt, in 3 matches, they've won 2-0, and they lead 2-0 today. The defensive record that you talked about off the top has been pretty astounding for the Green so far in the season.
Say that word superior again.
Superior.
Yeah.
Why'd you want me to do that?
I just like hearing that word associated
with
Vermont.
Okay. It's like, did I say it weird or something?
No.
Okay. They have been playing at a really high level so far this year. At the moment, proving it against the reigning USL 2 champs. This is positive from the Phantoms. They are tough on the break. Varley's ball, able to find Brizuela, but his pass well off the mark for Dos Santos, and some frustration there on their faces.
Yeah, I'd say that encapsulates kind of the first half for Seacoast. Is there sometimes when they are able to get it up to their big man, to their number 9 pretty quickly, but then it doesn't seem to stick. And then those little 1-2s that they maybe look for to try to create a chance on goal, it just doesn't come off.
You've got some attacking options to go to. Alfred Boffey, second team All-Big South in the fall, was a real piece to their championship-winning squad last season. Michael Asare as well is a forward at the avail of Josh Taylor. Just finished his freshman year at Boston College.
There's a lot of Boston College undergrads within this league, especially up in our division.
Big influence in the Northeast Division. As Northeast soccer trying to take over the country.
I was going to say, I sometimes have to go to Boston for work, so maybe this fall I'll
check
go
out
by
the
and
Eagles.
check them out. Yeah, check out the
Here go
Eagles.
the Green again. Costabile with runners in the middle.
Was it deflected? No, it looks like it's just going to be a goal kick.
Just got it wrong.
And you can see Chris Taylor beckoning his team to get back, finish out this half. Roughly 30 seconds left.
Picoto, he's embraced the physicality of this one.
He's also been very consistent, from what we've seen of him.
And Jagby had just meandered offside too early again. Well, we've played just about 47. They're the required 2 extra minutes come and gone. Again, the goals from a Jagby and Tatavine. 2-0 the Green lead, looking for an early season statement.
And what a statement it would be.
Play continues through Dos Santos. Brizuela.
Potentially one last corner.
They're given the time to take the corner. We've played nearly 3 extra minutes now after 2 had been added. Time for the corner, though. This will be Dos Santos. No, sorry, Chapella to deal. Flicked on off the crossbar at the near post. Connor Thompson nearly scoring at his home pitch. And it was just about the final touch of the half. Thompson, a solid header, had his collegiate teammate Herseg beaten. But at the break, Matt, it is 2-0 to Vermont.
Whew. I was just thinking, I wasn't going to say it. I was like, did everyone make their prayer to their gods just before this? You know, last second corner, you've just seen it so many times, and it's always heartbreaking.
Herseg and company stand their ground. Another look at a really nice flick from Thompson.
It's a really good attempt.
Herseg was potentially beaten, but his crossbar was not. It is Vermont Green 2-0 at the break. They are in control of the 3 points. Still 45 minutes to go from a rainy Virtue Field. We'll talk to you as the second half gets underway.
You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just?
Don't like sharing your pint? Then share the new Scoopapalooza.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's.
Make some mother chunkin' change.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack.
My sauce.
That's the power of 7th generation. Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th generation.
You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just? You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just?
Don't like sharing your pint? Then share the new Scoopapalooza.
You can make progress by doing the things you love.
If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's.
Make some mother chunkin' change.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th generation. Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th generation.
You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just? You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just? You could say it's just a game. You could say it's just a drink. After all, when people come together to be stewards of the earth, what could be more just?
It's 2-0 at the break. Vermont Green FC on top of Seacoast United. Matt, a pretty dominant display in the first half from the Green. One big chance late for Connor Thompson and the Phantoms, a header off the bar. But the Green score a couple of nice goals, and they were the team controlling the majority of that opening 45.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting lulled into a false sense of confidence here
Don't say
because
that.
it was a bit uncharacteristic from Seacoast from years past, and seeing these matches, I've seen a lot more lethality in front of goal from Seacoast themselves. And looking at the absolute size of their number 9, he seemed to just be dominated by Ndia and Rui. But granted, a lot of that was from these very long balls out of the back that are very difficult to take down and control and bring Seacoast up into the play. So we'll see if maybe they change up a little bit of their tactics from there. But so far, the three things that I was kind of looking for in that first half, we're about halfway through that. And it was one, I wanted to see if Tadavin continues his goal-scoring form. Check. No goals conceded.
No relation that I know of, by the way, between the two first-year head coaches.
It's giving a lot more possession to Green.
There were the goals as first it was David Ajagby cutting inside on his right foot from the left wing, followed by the beautiful cross from Enzo Dovlo to Arno Tatavin. And Vermont Green FC in front at the break 2-0. One change for the Phantoms. They send on Alfred Boffey, a 5'8" speedy attacker. He plays collegiately at High Point, second team All-League in the fall when he scored 4 goals. He was a replacement in the national championship win a year ago for Seacoast United, so an experienced player joining their attacking line. He entered for the midfielder Ryo Miata. No changes for the Green. Jagby continues down the left with Dovlo up the right. This is Julian Laborda loose. And an early ball for Dovlo to chase, played on the bounce by John.
This is the first time I've actually been close to a Jagby, and what a unit.
Big boy.
That is a problem to mark.
Just a youngster, was a star in the Vancouver Whitecaps Academy, a big contributor in his freshman year at Ohio State, made the all-freshman team in the Big Ten. And now, over the last 3 matches, he appeared off the bench against Boston City FC, did not contribute to a goal. In the 2 friendlies, he had 2 goals and 3 assists. He's got a goal tonight. 3 goals, 3 assists in his last 3.
And not just a goal, a really good goal.
And he's the first choice left winger. I wouldn't be so shocked if we saw Stéphane Njike at all. He's another French winger that Chris Taylor could go to. For now, Seacoast trying to roll it along the floor. Thompson.
And Green doing a good job of cutting off those passing channels into the midfield, and it's limiting Seacoast to have to go wide or long.
Heavy touch from Rumley, but he's able to play Thompson once more. Dos Santos trying to return it to the run of the left back, Bajar. Well, it's pretty clear they've got Boffey set up wide on the left wing to start with the right-sided winger Chapella remaining deep and high.
I'm wondering if it's potentially match pace for pace or see if he can potentially beat, Thomas, because Thomas has just got pace for days.
Thompson intercepted on the return pass. He was looking for Varley. That's out off of a Jagby. The throw taken by Varley. Dos Santos, positive touch away from Costabile. Musa and DA the challenge. He's won the ball.
He had to get that very clean, but.
And now Pakoto cut down in his attempts to spree Zenge. Play allowed to continue. Terry Makadika. Boffey running outside. They've played it through. Out comes Herseg.
I think it was a slide tackle from our angle, but Herseg came out just to make sure.
Shadowed it out. It is a corner for Seacoast. A bit more bright to begin this half. Thompson will take a right-footed in-swinger. It was Thompson who nearly scored from really the final touch of the opening half. He headed one off of Herseg's crossbar. And DA got the first head on it, and then a Jagby. Eventually Zenge prods it away. Tracked down by Dos Santos. Back for Varley.
Good use of the body there from Zenge doing the defensive work.
Working hard, doesn't get the foul. Now Varley speeding centrally.
There's a lot more emphasis and energy to Seacoast game starting this half.
Thompson, and it's headed away by Costabile. Labordalus is able to shepherd it away from Chapella. And Tatavine initiating a green transition moment.
It's a good decision, too. Instead of taking it forward and potentially losing it, keep possession.
Dovlo.
Try to take the sting out of the possession from Seacoast.
Enzo Dovlo. Labordalus. And the green bossing once again through the midfield.
It's going to be interesting to see what Chris Taylor's, his philosophy at 2-0 up into the second half against Seacoast, nonetheless. Do you still have that emphasis on the...
What a pass, Labordalus! Zenge just couldn't lasso it in.
Do you still have that emphasis on the attack, which we're clearly seeing there is, or do you kind of try to eat away the clock in phases throughout this second half and then try to get closer and, see if you can get a third goal, but let's just keep this lead?
Alfred Bothy trying to be the tempo center for Seacoast. Shifty, clatters into Labordalus, who is willing to take the foul.
Well, we can see what he's about, the difference that he brings to it. It's clearly he's got this very good drive in his dribbling there.
Speedy move from Bothy. It's a professional foul, I guess you could say.
All I could do against somebody that fast, so I understand.
I would be cowering and ducking out of the way.
I'm sorry in advance. You're going down.
Pretty central here for the Phantoms. Dos Santos eyeing it up with his left foot. Connor Thompson would be the right-footed variety. The center backs are forward. Frias the target at the back post. Jagby had him marked.
Interesting take there from Central, too.
That's hard in a spot like that.
It's a terrible angle from there, and that's why I think, you from that distance, too, is just play it out wide on the ground and try to keep possession and work, that final third a bit more. But Vermont Green will not complain.
Herseg looking to keep the clean sheet. The Green yet to allow a league goal. This is their third match of the young season. Dovlo. Thomas shields it from Thompson. Dos Santos had it picked off.
I'm not sure what he's complaining about. He tripped over the ball.
And Labordalus has Costabile. Good challenge down the Green left side as it was Varley to take it away from Jagby.
Dos Santos still got his hands up asking potential foul, but maybe I just didn't see it correctly, but it looked like he just tripped over the ball. And you're down 2-0, I would say forget about that and get back into the game.
He's been frustrated by the Green combo in the midfield. Labordalus and Picoto. Now Dos Santos tries to up the pressure on Ndie. Sweeps it into the feet of Jagby.
Oh, there it is.
Zenge making the run. Flag stays down. Zachary Zenge! It's clinical! Oh, now the flag's gone.
Oh,
it is a late flag. It is a late flag. It was a lovely finish from Zenge. And a good ball played through from Jagby.
It was a great ball from Jagby. I thought it was onside. Maybe it was just a split second offsides from it, but nonetheless, a good finish as well.
And now Jagby still down on the pitch. Looks like they're trying to stretch his left calf. They're taking some tape off his boot.
I'm wondering if his calf just locked up a little bit and take the tape off, loosen it up a little.
Well, there's some of the work that Zachary Zenge can provide. A great little run. And a left-footed finish as well, I believe. Stays 2-0. And Jagby back on his feet.
And that's what I like about this attack, too, and this team is that they can work those channels out wide and then find those passes inside, good crosses from there, but they also like to try to thread it through the defense.
Frias wants the early ball. Brazuela wasn't making the run. Labordalus.
Oh, go
He's
on.
going from deep. Labordalus. Audacious thought. Well, Julian Labordalus.
It was on target.
He's enjoying himself today,
yes,
I would say.
Yes, he is.
The big challenge. I thought when he reared his foot back, what's he doing now? Was looking to lob one over Tobias John. Brizuela trying to start the attack for Seacoast. Gets rid of it down the wing. Thompson returns it Dos Santos, and there's Labordalus again, out for a corner. But Julian Labordalus all over the place in recent minutes.
Yeah, and Brizuela, I think he's getting a little more involved in this second half now. In the first half, it looked like he was dealing with very low chances of actually getting possession from there, but now you're starting to see him bring the ball down and get his team involved.
Thompson sets it up on his right. Low driving ball, takes a deflection, and it's a goal kick. Thompson looking skyward.
And this is a bit more of what I expected in that first half, but going into the second half, this is much more the Seacoast that I'm familiar with.
And DA out to a Jagby. He's surrounded. Pakoto. Back and forth the ball ping-pongs. A Jagby's on it for the moment. The safety outlet is Musa Ndiaye.
I think that's going to be out for a corner.
It is out for a corner. Herseg is pretty comfortable at his feet. Something that he's worked hard to improve at. A natural shot stopper, as you might tell from his frame. But Matt, he actually injured his finger early in the Vermont Catamount season, broke his middle finger, was unable to train with his hands for about a month or so, had a surgery that went poorly, could only train with his feet for a long time, and the coaches told me he got a ton better playing out of the back during that time period.
Make the best of your situation, I guess.
They said he's a really hard worker and really was able to take a big advantage of that. Now the Green are breaking nicely. Tatavine with overlappers. Thomas to the end line. Can he cut it back? Chips it nicely over the head of Pakoto. And the attack fizzles momentarily. Costabile.
Out of the way, ref.
It's a Jagby again. David Jagby just drags it wide. Couple of good chances for the Green.
And just right there from a break, a quick break out from that corner kick. So clearly they definitely want to add to this lead. They're not afraid to get forward.
Not far off the mark for a Jagby. Scored nicely with his right foot in the first half. Pretty powerful rip with the left. Well, the fans who saw Vermont Green win 9-0 on Tuesday might be thinking they've got more in the bag.
Don't get greedy.
So far, a couple of league wins for the Green, both 2-0. Well, the Green have never scored more than twice in a match against Seacoast. This now their 8th try.
There's more goals in this game for either side, but there's more goals.
Tatavine just unable to unlock his.
It's a great tackle. Great use of the body there from Tatavine.
He and Dovlo are combining all over the place. Enzo Dovlo, that's nasty. Drives it across. Awkward. Zange's there. It is 3-0. Somehow it finds Zange in the perfect spot.
I told you there's more goals in this game, Brian. And I was a little bemused or shocked that the keeper didn't get a hand to it. He's right now having a conversation with the ref. Let's take another look at this.
Oh, it took a touch.
It took a little flick on.
I think that's Tatavine who got the touch on it. He should get the assist if that's the case.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's Dovlo and it's Tatavine. They seem to be in the middle of all of these dangerous attacking chances.
Absolutely. Dovlo's had a very, very good match so far.
You a little more comfortable at 3-0 than you were at 2?
Absolutely. And again, I've thought in years past that when there was a 2, maybe sometimes 3-0 lead, that you would take your foot off the gas, kind of sit in a little deeper, just try to control and possession from that. And I've always been wrong. It's just in their nature. It's in this club's nature to go and attack.
I love that energy from Chris Taylor on the bench.
Absolutely. He wants this.
In his first match in charge against the rivals Seacoast. His team put a thumping on the reigning national champions through the hour so far. Not quite a complete hour played, but it has been pretty thoroughly one-sided for much of this match. And Julian Labordalouse has been such a big part of that.
Everywhere. Yeah, he's been absolutely everywhere.
Matt refused to tell me who he thought was playing well at the half. I think Labordalouse might be one of his favorites so far today.
I'm a little more comfortable to say it.
At 3. We don't need to talk about it yet.
I'll just say it. I think Rui and Ndie have been like the best 2 players, and that's not taking anything away from anybody else. They've been so consistent, so comfortable, and they've just started so much of these attacks. Like, they're just clean and consistent.
Thomas almost had it taken away, but Boffy gives it back to him. And Tatavine has been the key cog in many of these quick breaks for the green. Labordalouse, Snifty, Costabile.
Great ball there from Ndie.
He wanted the big one this time. It's right to the chest of Boffy. Dovlo steps in. Brizuela drops it back for Bejar. And the left back slaloming centrally. Zange.
No foul, says the ref.
Bejar went down a bit too easily, according to the referee, and it's a green goal kick. No real complaints on that one from Seacoast. Pakoto. Thomas. Bit of a misstep there from Thomas.
Little slip.
Well, it's Pakoto's first start in USL 2. Yarda had started the previous matches along with Labordalouse in the midfield. What have you made of their partnership?
I really like both of them, and I think they both add a very physical, dominant kind of profile to that area of the pitch from there. Both, able to carry the ball, pass the ball very well, but they can put in those hard challenges to win the ball back.
Thompson lays off Chapella. Dos Santos at his feet. Pakoto was there with him. Boffy, he wants inside on his right foot. Forced backwards to Makadika. Loose from Thompson. Able to get it through Chapella and the rip. Herseg to his left. His first save, stopping Brizuela. And the big German gloved it and held it.
It's difficult, in this instance for Herseg potentially, is that if you haven't had a lot to do for this match, you still have to be completely switched on. And, there's going to be a shot or two that are going to be on it, and you have to make those technical saves.
Pretty good hit from Brizuela, but will take a lot more to challenge. Nick Herseg, foul called as Pakoda and Rui had sandwiched Dos Santos.
You can just see the communication from the Vermont Green team that they're all completely switched on. Not just the goalkeeper trying to say, but they're all switched on right now. Yelling at each other, pointing to get in position.
Makadika chooses to play it wide. Now the delivery getting wound up. Frias flicks it back. Rui drags it away, and a foul is spotted. Dos Santos held his arm.
And really, really good job from me because he almost actually went in with his foot really high to challenge on that, and that actually could have resulted in a penalty if he got it wrong. He waited because he saw the ball was bouncing, then got the clearance. And I think I'm seeing Trimnall is going to be coming on, Brian.
Talk about a guy who is relentless in his running. That will potentially run Seacoast ragged.
And this looks like a couple more players, and Vardy's coming on now.
Another big physical presence for the Green in the midfield.
I mean, the levels don't drop with these subs, too. This is, like I said, such a luxury to have this, to be able to put these players on, and you don't drop a level.
And what a challenge that just was from Amani Thomas. Flying in on Connor Thompson down the left side. Wins the goal kick. It's Arno Tatavin, the striker, coming off for Trimnell. An excellent performance from the green striker.
Yeah.
Looks like Zachary Zenge, the other to give way. He's handing the armband off to Musa Ndiaye. So Yarde will take his place in the midfield, more of a typical 3 midfielders for the green. And Trimnell after a really good shift from Arno Tatavin.
And both Zengi and Tadavine, just to really emphasize, they both had such a great, roughly 64 minutes. Did their job. That job,
And they both
job is
scored?
done. Yeah, and they both scored.
But even beyond that, what else did they do well?
Well, I thought they linked up really well, but they also both kind of played in these very off the ball. I thought they did a great job of actually cutting off those passing lanes, so it made it very difficult for Seacoast, which helped the entire team to retain possession because they had to go long. And Ndiaye and Rui, they'll take that all day.
It's a free kick for Seacoast. Brizuela was held up by Rui. Chapella. Frias. Thompson. Chapella trying to dance his way through the green midfield. Labordalou says no further. Costabile vacuums it in. And here's Trimnell's first time to run it. Frias. Tyler Trimnell. 4 assists in the friendlies. Eventually runs out of room to maneuver and commits the foul. And take it quickly. Seacoast upping their urgency. And Labordalou is called. The decision goes against the Frenchman, against Dos Santos.
And once again, Bordelus, though, absolutely everywhere. He has covered every inch of turf.
Certainly turf. Imagine how slippery it would be today if we were on grass.
That would just be mud out there. Little blood and thunder match, just mud. Ball would just stick.
Some of these guys might prefer that.
I know.
No, it's led to a great style of play today. Labordalou back to the keeper, Herseg. Skips through Thompson and away from a Jagby. Makadika. Guess who's there?
Bordelus.
Julian Labordalou. Well, he's shown his passing acumen. The second half, though, has been about his ability to make a challenge.
Yeah, he's got good decision making. He decides sometimes that he wants to just keep possession, keep a simple pass, maybe back to the keeper, back to his center back partnerships. But then he also he can drive forward. He's got an eye for a pass forward to try to thread it.
Again, Makadika. Played back for Thompson. Seacoast desperate to get one back and perhaps a charge into the final stages of this match. Swept away by Thomas. And it's the green pendant a bit now. Bejar coming centrally. Makadika. Frias. And Rumley. Boffy's pass down the line. Taken away, Dovlow.
And that's that really good defensive shape from Green there, just making it predictable to then time out that tackle to try and get the ball back.
No reason for them to come out of their shape at this point, right?
No, absolutely. Stay compact at this point. Wait for your opportunity, and then I think we're going to see, it's going to turn into a lot more of those breakaways, and the chances on goal.
Now it appears the Phantoms have a change to make. It is Ji-Woo Lee, who's played primarily as a center back over the years. Makadika gives way for Lee. And Michael Asari is the one to step into the pitch in the attacking end. He's another striker choice, or at least an attacking-minded player. Looks like Lee is going to play a bit more into the defensive midfield, and Thompson is heading farther up to join Dos Santos in the attacking side of the midfield. Sorry, now the right-sided winger, opposite of Bafi on the perimeter around the central striker, Brazuela. Pakoto trying to return it to Yarda. Labordalus from the green, communicating they want to keep the ball. Musa Ndiaye.
And again, good decision-making from Bordalus there. Instead of trying to take the turn and potentially lose possession, just keep it simple right now. You keep hearing that from Chris Taylor and his staff. Keep it simple right now.
Bejar the interception back. Thompson intended for Bafi down the line. Rui Aoki takes it wide, able to keep it in play with Thomas. The Japanese center back able to spot the outlet. Pakoto's pass intercepted. Yarda gets the challenge right.
Great challenge.
And Costabile nips it back. Here go the green with some numbers. Ajagby. Trimnell racing to the back post. David Ajagby clips it in that direction, and it's taken away by Rumley.
And every time it just looks so dangerous. It looks like it's going to actually be a shot on goal or a goal.
Varley, the right back, to take the throw in. Trying to go up the line where the newcomer Asari was waiting. More frustration on the faces of the Phantoms as the Green have it back. Last 10 or so minutes, Seacoast had the ball in the Green territory, but really nothing to speak of as far as a threat on her side.
No, and I think that's going to result, honestly, for the rest of the match, or at least for another 10, 15 minutes, is that you're going to see these breakaways from the Green because they are going to do their job of being compact and trying to limit the chances or the passing lanes. But, you know, Seacoast still do need to try and get in the attack, so it's going to open up. I still think there's even more goals in this game.
Let's see if it happens as quickly as when you last spoke. Sorry. For Rumley. Much more possession in the second of 45 minutes for the Phantoms. Varley at full stretch. It's a Green throw-in. They're about 20 minutes to play. The Green have added a third in the second half. First half goals at Jagby and Tatavine. Zachary Zenge's first of the year. It was the Dovlo cross. Tatavine got just the smallest of touches. And Labordalus fouled by Marco Dos Santos.
He's making a strong shot for potentially man of the match, Bordalus.
Just been in control.
But it's such a difficult one, honestly, to give it to anybody right now because I think everyone's just been, again, 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s.
Can somebody take it in the last few minutes? Yarda leaves it Trimnell. He returns it Dovlo, the provider already of a few Green goals. Plays it back for Thomas. Thomas wants to serve. It will be a throw. Bejar, after the Green throw, went a bit awry, but he couldn't tiptoe the touchline enough.
Good switch of play there.
Costabile. Trimnell was looming at the back post. Instead, he plays it conservatively for Ndiaye. Big switch.
Oh.
Costabile, feathery touch.
So Rui's got that in his locker as well.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Some space for Yarda. He's angled wide. Thomas, very willing to race, and he's turned the corner. Amani Thomas still going inside. The cutback just evades Trimnell. It's Bafi. Continues to keep it in play. Dangerously centrally. Julian Labordalus. Labordalus is dancing. Julian Labordalus continues to probe, has a go with his left, and it's deflected for a corner.
Absolutely fantastic from him there. That winding little run, just trying to get his chance.
He's been special tonight.
Yep. He's just growing more and more into the match, too.
So far, all the buttons Chris Taylor has pushed. Working effectively. It'll be the right-footed in-swinger, the Frenchman. Yarda has joined the fray as another potential threat in the air for the green. Trimnall as well is a big boy. Near post ball, dangerous. Yarda scores it. It is Eskil Yarda, and it's the green in front by 4.
All right, so it wasn't immediately after I said it, but it's just in the air right now. You could just smell goals right now, Brian.
Another delightful ball from Labordalus, and it leaked through to Yarda.
And what a great finish too. Yeah, acute finishes today from Tadavine, from
Jagby had a nice one. Zanges was a
This
routine
is another one.
tap-in,
He's somewhere halfway between the end line and the 6 and takes that little volley and puts it to the far post.
And a Chris Taylor substitution pays off.
He's just getting everything right tonight. Absolutely everything right from Chris Taylor and his staff.
The Liverpool man wants it to rain every match
I was
day.
going to say, it's like he's just in his element. The staff is just in their element right now. They're like, no, this is great.
Oh, and look who's about to come on. The Green are going to make a change, and it's Stefan Njike, who has been absolutely electric. 2 goals in 2 USL 2 matches.
Just brutal.
It is a relentless group going for the moment. When Njike has scored twice, Matt, both of those goals have come appearing off the bench. He's been an outstanding substitute option for Taylor in recent matches.
And you love to see that from your substitutes. Nobody's hurt or anything like that, or a little annoyed that they didn't start the match. They just want their time to shine and to prove themselves and just make it a headache.
Dos Santos. Did Herseg get a touch? It is out for a corner, so the greenkeeper giving credit for prodding that one over the bar. Good hit from Marco Dos Santos. Well, Herseg's been forced into a couple of saves since halftime. It's going to take a lot to beat the big fella from that distance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good attempt, but
taken short. Thompson in the 2-man game, Dos Santos bombed away. That was Costabile, the clear.
And look at Trimnall just sprinting out to immediately put him under pressure, make him go backwards.
Yarda joining him. And now a Jogby on the press. Bejar tried to play it early, deflected out.
And it's such a good sign, too, of like a cohesive unit when they're out of possession in the way that they press, is that it's not just one player, say one forward, who's just doing this relentless, dog running work to just try to like force an error or force them to play quicker. It's all of them. They like once it starts to switch to one side, you see that player start to immediately press, and they're all just hunting together.
The changes for the Green. It's Njike for a Jagby. Miles Cully on now for the Phantoms, as is Christoph Schurz. One of the more impressive performances that I can remember of Vermont Green FC side having, and still a pretty short tenure as a club, but this has been a standout day.
Yeah, this has been an absolutely statement so far performance. This is a blueprint of how you need to play throughout the season.
And remember, while the Seacoast team had dropped points to AC Connecticut, they went down to Western Massachusetts and were able to get a draw against the Pioneers. So now it's, barring a miraculous Seacoast comeback, they will have taken 1 point through 2 matches against kind of the other 2 of this league division big 3 clubs. And the Green will have a couple of matches still with the Pioneers on the schedule. They'll have the trip down to New Hampshire.
Good touch from Pakoto there. Oh, is it going to sit? Can he get to it?
Trimnell is quick. And it's a throw-in.
It was offsides. Got it.
Dovlo on a foot race. Bajar just able to shoulder him aside.
And again, these long balls, this isn't going to be a problem for NDA or Rui.
Pakoto battling.
Great positioning from Castible. And then DA.
Musa DA. Brick wall.
Play it in the air, play it on the ground. Doesn't matter.
You're not bypassing that man. And GK's got Yarda moving. He prods it back to the Frenchman, and he's eventually knocked off the ball. Frias defensively there. Edward Fendignan is also on now for Seacoast. They made 3 changes at that last chance. Going deep into their bench. Costabile ends up fouling Asari.
But even in the 80th minute, Green's still working really hard to win that ball back, staying compact. Just a really mature, professional performance.
As far as league action is concerned, the Green back on the road. They make the trip down to Albany next week. The Albany Rush will be waiting. Currently, Albany's taken 3 points in 3 matches. Sitting in the middle of the pretty stacked Northeast Division. Pakoto just caught in possession. And Labordelus is bundled into and fouled.
Dangerous tackle.
And it's Miles Coley who's going in the book. It's a yellow card. Coley just finished his freshman year at Davidson. He was the main Gatorade Player of the Year a season ago in high school. He's making his USL2 debut for the Phantoms. It's a big challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge kind of born out of frustration, too. And I think that's why it also, warrants the yellow. Wasn't necessarily needed.
As far as next action for Seacoast, this is their 4th match early on this year. They return to the pitch on Wednesday, where they will host Blackrock FC. This is their 3rd consecutive road match for the Phantoms. They will be very excited to get back to their home facility, the Seacoast's outdoor complex.
It's still like one of the coldest places I've ever been, is their facility.
Was it in the middle of July, probably?
No, but it was, I think it was early spring going to youth tournaments down there. And let me tell you that there's not enough layers you can wear.
Good defending from Bejar. Well, they've made it a fortress down there in recent years. The Green have done the same to Virtue Field outside of when they have had to host tonight's opponent. Historically, Seacoast United, the dominant foe in this rivalry, but the Green
making a statement.
It would be the most lopsided results in the Green State or in the Twin State Derby ever, should the score holds. Previously, the biggest win had been 3-0 to Seacoast in last year's USL2 tournament.
When do have the power rankings already come out for USL2?
There have been a few power rankings. Vermont Green sitting right around the number 10 number this year. Let me try to find that precisely for you. Seacoast started the year #1 in the country in the power rankings, but due to dropping points in 2 of their opening 3 matches, they've dropped out of the top 20.
Right. We got a player down.
It's the center back Santiago Frias. Has spent a couple of years as a U-Albany Great Dane. He's headed to Syracuse in the fall.
They're beckoning over the medical staff. I didn't really catch necessarily just what the challenge was. I think it wasn't actually based out of a challenge. It's almost like something innocuous that
makes you worry a bit more.
Yeah, it's like if it's not really from like a heavy challenge, it almost makes you worry a little bit more.
As far as the power rankings are concerned, Matt, after 2 weeks, Vermont Green FC sits 7th in the USL2 power rankings. They are the top team in the Northeast Division. Western Massachusetts, following the draw against Seacoast, are down at 9th. AC Connecticut all the way up in 15th. Big win over Seacoast will do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Win over Seacoast bumps you up.
They also have a 2-1 victory over Albany Rush to their name. Currently battling with Boston Bolts. Barring a big victory for AC Connecticut, as you see, Frias not putting any weight on that left leg.
Well, I had caught a replay of it as well, and it looks like he twisted something because it wasn't from necessarily a challenge. It was just his foot got stuck, and hopefully he has a quick recovery and he's okay.
Under the good hands today of athletic trainer Hannah Tremmel. Works as the head of the Vermont Green athletic training staff and is the University of Vermont men's soccer athletic trainer. Working here at Virtue Field in the summer months as well. Rumley looking for a sorry as Seacoast try to salvage something. The Green trying to keep a perfect defensive record. That means something to these guys, doesn't it, when you haven't allowed a goal?
Absolutely. And that's something that you just, you don't think about it too much in the very beginning, but then when you have a match like this, and there still is some time, Brian, so I hate talking about it.
Sorry.
But no, it's okay. I'm just I'm superstitious.
Very superstitious. Not a little.
I know, you'd think I liked baseball. But no, I mean, once it starts to carry over and you start getting midway through the season and you start to look at how many goals you conceded, and that's where you start to pinpoint, all right, this is where our problems are, this is where we're really strong. That's something that you almost want more and more and more. You know, it almost annoys you if you win a match 3-2. You're like, how do we give up 2?
Well, you think about year-end standings, goal difference really often matters.
Oh, yeah.
Seacoast's a year ago had a big goal difference. Right now, Western Massachusetts have and
GK.
Excellent goal difference. Quite the run here. Trimdale has to retreat.
But yes, to go back to your point, that goal difference.
Well, Labordalus was lining it up, and it deflects out, going to be a corner. But go ahead.
No, that goal difference, whether it's goals for, goals against, that's going to make a difference. It almost always does towards the very end.
A big lopsided victory earlier in the year for Western Massachusetts. They throttled Boston City 9-0, and they also beat Albany Rush 6-0. So they've got a plus 15 goal difference already this year.
So
right now,
they're the team to beat right now.
As far as goal difference is concerned. But again, they dropped points, drawing 1-1 to Seacoast. Vermont Green would have the inside track on the other big 3 squads in this league if they can close this thing out. Labordalus, the ball across.
Oh.
It was Rui, the header. Good save.
And they had pace on it, too. I think if that goes left or right, I don't know if the keeper necessarily gets a hand to it.
Every ball from Julian Labordalus is threatening.
Yeah, he has just been on it tonight.
Strong header from Rui Aoki, and Tobias John had to be on his toes. It's Labordalus to the other corner flag. Good news, Frias racing back into the picture. The 6'5" defenseman. That was a bit poor by the standards of Julian Labordalus. Well, if you're superstitious, I guess I jinxed that one. Or if you believe in such a thing as the broadcaster jinx.
I kind of do.
Costabile continuing his run. I have no comment. It works out for Yarda. Frias is able to muscle it out of danger for the Phantoms.
But the Green doing such a good job of recovering now. And look, already getting possession back.
Amani Thomas just has burners.
Yeah.
Goes to ground here. The referee's allowed play to continue.
I agree with that.
But it's played out. A very heavy touch. Taken in the end by Fandunyan.
And that's just been kind of the story of the match so far for Seacoast is, getting into that final third and potentially getting into dangerous areas, but then it just doesn't come off, or an errant pass, whether it be the conditions or just, the technique, whatever it is, it's just not coming off.
It has been a day for the Vermonters.
What a touch from Bordalous. Oh, we got a baller. We got a baller.
Julian Labordalous. Quite nasty.
He's feeling it.
Well, he hasn't contributed on the score sheet, Matt, but man, he has been
everywhere else
in the mix of it all.
Absolutely.
Signal is 2 minutes of extra time upcoming. Stefan Gike wants to join the party. Tyler Trimnell, he's timed his run, it appears. Trimnell turning the corner. It's off the woodwork.
Was there any touch from the keeper on that? It looks like they're calling for a corner.
Nope. Green won a corner, but it's a goal kick in the end. Another surging run from Trimnell.
The pass from Njike, though, was just weighted perfectly. It just sat in front of Trimnell so that he could take it on his stride.
I thought that was deflected, but off the post, off of Trimnell last. Almost beating the keeper Tobias John at his near posts. It is a win for Vermont Green that will boost some confidence, not just of the Green and their staff, but the supporters as well. Strong header from Rui.
Rui just doing a great job in his positioning there, just between those two attackers.
Yarda, is he in here? Shadowed and escorted wide by Rumley. But the defending national champs about to go down for the second time in 4 matches. Yarda and company after more. Here's Trimnell again. Tyler Trimnell gets it on his right. First shot blocked. Frias able to snuff the chance. Well, Matt, we wondered just how this day would unfold. Would it be Seacoast continuing to flex their muscles? In the end, it is the Green who have shown everybody what they're all about.
I would be lying if I had said that I was walking into this with full of confidence. I had belief, I could say that, but in my experience, I haven't necessarily seen this type of result.
Going forward, what could it do for the team?
Well, back to confidence. I think this absolutely boosts all of your confidence, your belief. These are the types of statement wins, too, and not just because of anything out of luck. This was just a very mature, measured performance from everyone that's played so far tonight.
4-0 the final. It is a Twin State Derby thumping. Vermont Green FC dominate Seacoast United.
And what a win for Chris Taylor and his staff. I have to give credit to them. I have to give credit to Adam for the recruitment. You can see what they saw in this team, in the people that they brought in, these players. There is so much strength. There's so much quality across this entire roster.
The Green make a statement at home. Can you get me a man of the match pick?
I'm going to go with Rui.
Rui Aoki.
I think that you cannot underestimate 0 goals conceded. 0 goals conceded. And I hate, like, it's tough to say because I thought Ndiaye was just as great, but Rui just had something about him. He looked vicious about it, but like so measured and vicious at the same time. And he won almost every single ball that he went after. Good in possession, sprayed the ball well, found a green shirt on all of his passes, just all around. Just I thought he had a solid, 9 out of 10.
To your point, 3 wins, 3 clean sheets for Vermont Green. Nicholas Herseg, a couple of saves, will earn the shutout in his first USL2 start. David Ajagby started the scoring. Moussa Ndiaye, the one who set him up. Then it was the goal from the French. Enzo Dovlo, the cross. Arnaud Tatavine, the header. Zachary Zenge and Eskil Yarda joining in on the second half party. And Matt, we've been talking about it. A confidence-building result for the Green. They will have to face Seacoast once again, but just final thoughts from this one as the season continues on. It has the Green will celebrate in front of their fans. What's going to stand out to you?
Well, I think obviously the scoreline stands out to me the most, but I also loved seeing that Tatavine carrying over his goal-scoring form. Zengi getting on the score sheet now. I thought those two played really, really well together. I'm liking that little partnership they got going on. The fact that you can go from Ajagby and Jeki to have those rotate those two players on the left side is just brutal for the opposition themselves. I thought Dovlo was absolutely amazing tonight.
Awesome.
I thought Thomas had a really, really good amount of the game. I thought he got forward a lot. He joined into the attack. I thought Castible, Rui, and Ndiaye were absolutely lock solid in the back. And then, so much credit to Bordelus. Picoto did a great job. It was almost like an unsung hero doing a lot of the kind of the dirty work from there. But Bordelus, he was just on his game.
It's a 4-0 final. Vermont Green return home in a non-league match. They will host Juba Star FC on Monday. Come out and hang with us. 7 p.m. start time. Our broadcast will begin just a bit before then, and then they will be on the road for the match at Albany on Wednesday. Next home match next Saturday, a week from today, against the Boston Bolts. Matt, a fun one and a statement win for Vermont Green. A pleasure, buddy. We will talk to you next time. For Brian and Matt and our outstanding production team, see you Monday, everybody. Vermont Green win the Twin State Derby.